Hi, I'm Connie Erickson and I'm Fairly Live. And today I want to talk about parenting differences. A member of the group wrote in and told me that her biggest relationship challenge was differences in parenting styles. And she felt like she was always being the heavy and her husband wanted to be best friends with the kids. Yeah, nobody wants to be the heavy. It's not easy, it's not fun, and you definitely don't want to feel like you're in it alone. Like you're always the one playing the bad cop. So, how do you fix that? How do you get your partner on board? Okay, so let's say you're generally on the same page with parenting. Let me talk about that first. In that case, the solution is fairly easy, right? Let's say you want your kid to eat his or her dinner before dessert, or you want them to adhere to the bedtime routine. You do the right thing, you follow the rules, but your partner tells your child, it's okay, you don't have to eat your peas, or you can stay up later tonight. It's irritating, but usually it's a fairly easy recovery. You talk to your partner when you're alone and you replay the incident. You could say something like, I really don't like the way you handled that. I felt like you undermined me. Next time, I'd really like you to back me up. And hopefully, your partner will say, sure, I didn't mean to make you feel like that. No problem. Even if your partner says, I don't think it was a big deal, it was one night, it's irritating and it might cause a fight, but it's a pretty quick recovery because you know you're in alignment. It's a different story when this kind of thing happens all the time. And like in Michelle, the member's case, I think it's also more difficult when your kids are older. What do you do then? So I'm going to assume that you already tried what I talked about because I definitely think you should try that first. Um, but I'm going to assume you did that and either it didn't work or your partner has agreed in the moment but didn't follow through. Then you need a different approach. So try this. You tell your partner, I want to talk to you about how we're managing the kids. I want to make sure we're on the same page. Then you ask questions and wait to give your opinion. I want to get your ideas on how to best continue raising them. How do you want the household to run? What do you want for them after they leave us when they're out on their own? Really listen to their ideas and see if you can identify some common goals. Most parents want good things for their kids. Your partner probably isn't going to say, I want them to be lazy, inconsiderate, irresponsible, or careless. They're just not gonna say that, I hope. And so these are big questions, and your partner may not have the answers, might not feel like talking about it, or maybe hasn't thought about it in that way. And that's okay. You just ask the questions, and if your partner doesn't want to talk or doesn't have ideas, tell them just to think about it and then make a time in the following week to revisit it. You probably have thought about it, but don't give your answers first. That's tantamount to doing your partner's work for you. And all they have to do is agree or disagree. So let them think about it for themselves. So after you've identified a few common goals, after you've come back and your partner says what he or she wants for the kids, after you've identified some of those goals, for example, independent or responsible, then you ask more questions. And again, don't give your responses until you've heard your partners. You ask questions like, well, okay, we want the kids to be fill in the blank, independent or responsible. What do you think we can do as parents to help them and us achieve their goals? Do you think we're doing the best things we can to get them there? Is there anything you think we should do differently? What do you think is going to happen if we don't change anything and we keep going exactly the way we're going? And see if you can agree on a few ways to handle things. Be open to the idea that there are some areas of gray. Be willing to be flexible in some ways. Identify areas that you're not willing to be flexible and explain these. Same with your partner. He or she may not be willing to be flexible in certain areas. Then make a game plan. Okay, so you want them to be independent and you think it's good for us to let them handle their own money in order to get them independent. So, how do you want to handle whatever the next situation is, like when they ask us for money or when the cell phone bills due, something like that? How do you want to handle the next situation? and get your partner's input. Again, don't give them the answers. Then, after that situation occurs, evaluate and tweak your plan. If you've identified goals and you make a plan, your partner is way more likely to follow through. It will also be a little embarrassing to them if they don't follow through. It's going to be hard for them to admit that, oh, yeah, I agreed on the goals, but I just didn't feel like following through. Or I just didn't feel like doing the work, it was too hard. So, try that out. Of course, there's obviously, like anything else, there's a lot more to it than that. There's all kinds of feelings around disciplining, around how you were brought up, the house you grew up in, fear of not being liked by the children, resentment for being not being backed up. They're all really good things to understand about each other, but that's more than I can tackle in one live. So this is a start. I hope this helps. Give it a try and let me know how it goes. Thanks, and I'll see you next week.